Welcome to Holding Space. Michael Zen is a visual producer and creative photographer using his imaginative visionary energy to channel Zen and hold space for spiritual and innovative discussion. Each episode creates a supportive, accepting, and open environment that allows exploration and expertise to come together with engaging and entertaining convergence. With guest and community all helping the shape of the way, Michael is grateful to be together to hold space. Now here is your host of Holding Space, Michael Zen.
Yes, here I am holding space. I always feel compelled to echo the picture in the thumbnail there and hold the space. How's everybody doing? It's Michael Zinn. You are here live on Tuesday, June 17th. At least that's what we've agreed to have a conversation and hold some space. That's what we do here at Holding Space. I want to give a shout out to the Sacred Spiral Network, which has been so much fun since January doing this show here on the network. I met Kelly through doing my own show, The Live Stream of Consciousness, and we just hit it off, and I loved what she was doing with the network, and she offered me a show. So here I am holding space for some amazing people, having some amazing conversations, sharing energy. It's great to, even though I was late getting into the back end, see all of you guys waiting and saying hello and being here. So I really do appreciate it. Eveline, hashtag live. Thank you so much. The Sound Bowl. The Sound Bowl's name is Sage. So I don't have the sound bowl next to me right now because I was like, let me change it up a little bit. So what I've been doing, Eveline's referring to Sage, my sound bowl, and I've been opening up the show with a nice deep breath in through the lungs and out just to kind of ground, and I hit the bowl and I let it ring out and I sage sonically the space. That's where the name came from. And I don't know, I just decided to changed up, Eveline. So Sage is not with me. I've also got all blue happening right now instead of multicolors. So thank you for being here and noticing the normal stuff that happens. I'm excited about this show. It's been going really well. Kelly has been hooking me up with guests. It started with some of my own friends. I know so many metaphysical practitioners, energy workers, channelers, tarot readers, all sorts of amazing stuff that to me all points back to energy and source and a individual unique connection with it. Right? All of these different modalities are just different connections unique to that person and how they receive and transmit energy. And it's all an energetic exchange. And that's what I love about this show and holding space for you guys. I did a little bit of research about tonight's guest. And she also has a podcast, and also I feel like kind of comes from the same space, right? This energetic space of just wanting to send out love and have cool conversations and expose, that might not be the right word, amplify different people's, like I said, there are different connections with source. And that's what always turns into a wonderful energy exchange. We had so much fun with Suri Sawyer last week. And I'm excited because I feel like tonight's going to be fun too. I watched a couple of Maria's podcasts, and she's just got this great, warm, authentic energy. It's all about authenticity, I feel like. So thank you, Eveline. I love the blue. We've got an aloha, my favorite from Hawaii. I love Hawaii. And then Angelo's here as well. The Zen Effect hashtag live. Thank you. So anyway, I started babbling. I just caught myself doing it. I do it on the live stream of consciousness sometimes. So let's stop the babbling and welcome to Holding Space, Maria Gonçalves. How are you doing?
I am good. Thank you for inviting me. And thank you for that kind introduction. That was so sweet. And I love Kelly, and I love the color blue. So I'm coordinated with you tonight.
Awesome.
There's Kelly. Hi, everybody.
Yes. I'm really excited to talk to you because, like I said, I watched some of your stuff, your podcast, and you just have this really warm, this big smile we can all see on your face right now. It's really always welcoming for people who just kind of get it and are like, hey, I'm in this moment. I'm going to represent this moment the best that I can. And so I'm excited to talk to you. You do a lot of different things energetically, right? You're a psychic medium,
Yeah.
tarot, a couple of the things that I mentioned, which happens occasionally. People kind of, what's the word? I guess they spread out their energies and try different things, and everybody relates to different things. I find, right? I mean, I know people who read tea leaves, right? And
Cool.
yeah, and that's cool. And I just think it's cool that everybody who does that kind of stuff, they've done it, right? They've
Yeah.
found their connection to source and are authentically transmitting it back, reflecting it back to the universe. And that seems to be what you do. So tell me about how you came to be Maria Gonçalves, the psychic medium.
So Maria Gonçalves.
Oh,
It's an S.
Gonçalves. Oh, I meant to.
It's
I
a little
always
thing.
usually ask, am I pronouncing it right? But I was overconfident that I had
It's
it right.
okay. Everybody says
Gonçalves.
that. It's
So
Portuguese.
is that the little
It's a little
indication?
tick. I don't know how you say it in English. In
Okay.
Portuguese, I know the proper pronunciation for it.
But now I know it indicates a sound instead
An
of the
S sound.
yes.
Yes.
Cool.
So, yeah. So
All
the
right.
way so it's Portuguese, as you can see. So a lot of people think I might be Spanish, and I'm like, no, to be Spanish, the S is a Z.
Mm,
Gonçalves, because I have some friends that are Gonçalves, and I noticed the Z, and I was like,
right at the end, right? Yep, yep.
oh, I love it. I love names. I find it so fascinating. Like, where'd your name come
It
from?
is real, and you know what? Those little hints that you just gave me kind of help the etymology of it, right? I can look at a name now, and now I don't think I ever knew why it was an S versus a Z, but now I know Portuguese and Spanish are very different. I know Portuguese people and Spanish people, and they don't
Different.
like to be confused with each other, right? They like their own identities, which is cool. I think that's respectful. I can respect that.
I love Spanish. I can't speak it, but who knows? Maybe one day. Yes.
Cool.
So, my
Tudo
story.
bem? Tudo bem?
Sorry?
Tudo bem?
Oh, to the buying. Sing.
Let's see. So
Oh,
I just asked Maria, "Are you good?"
yes.
I've
It's
l-
like
I've
I
learned
start
I've
off.
I've learned a little Portuguese, so very cool.
Oh, obrigada. So, uh, my story, I actually didn't believe in any of this, to be quite honest. I thought like I would go to psychic fairs with friends, and I thought, oh, that's like really cool. I didn't understand it. I thought it was interesting, but I had no clue. I'd see people read, the palm of your hand, or read a tarot.
Mhm.
It's almost a cross between French and Spanish. I love it. So I would go to psychic fairs, and me and my friend, we'd see this stuff and be like, it's really cool. We had no idea what it actually was,
Mhm.
right? It's
Mhm.
fascinating, but I didn't understand. So then fast forward, I have a severe back injury at the age of 30. Pain's excruciating. It's almost like my mind kind of snaps between this world and the next. And all of a
Mm.
sudden I can see spirit like ICU, like solid 3D.
Wow.
Uh I could I remember jumping a timeline, which was kind of freaked me out. Like things would happen to me and it would just have freaked me out a lot. So
I
what
can
do I
imagine.
do? Because I'm so terrified, I don't understand what it is. And this is probably why I'm so passionate about my podcast, about speaking out, because in the beginning of my journey, I met a lot of mediums that scared me.
Mm.
There was so much fear. And then the thing is, you don't know what you don't know, because I
Mhm.
have no comparison for anything. So because of my back injury, I had a hard time with medication. I have really bad reactions with a lot of medication. So I started meditating a lot. What I didn't realize is by meditating, it was actually making my gifts stronger.
Mhm.
I had
Mhm.
no idea. I was like, but it helped. And then I learned to leave my body because it helped. Like I could be in excruciating amount of pain, but I would meditate so deeply with the intention of not feeling the pain, and I could leave my body. So I did that again, not realizing I was actually strengthening strengthening my psychic abilities. And then I remember going with a friend because I told her, I call up a friend, I'm like, oh my goodness, I see dead people. How do we get rid of this?
How do I
How
get
do
rid
we
of
make them stop?
it?
It's like, what happened to you? I was like, I hurt my back and they won't stop talking to me and they're waking me up and they're touching me and it was just like, it was very spooky. So what do? We go on this quest of how to unbecome a medium. Yes, because we thought, again, we know nothing. So do you remember Meetup? I don't know if you guys had Meetup back
Yeah,
in.
meetup. Yeah, like kind of like a hobby community,
Yeah.
people who are into the same interests.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
we would sign up for Meetup and it'd be like mediumship circles. Like we
Oh,
had
cool.
some where they're like circling us with salt so the evil spirits don't get us.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Am I
serious business. Yeah, it can
so
be. It
scary?
can be.
It was so scary. And my friend walks out, she goes, did you figure it out yet? Did you figure out how to unbecome a medium? And I'm like, not yet. So we kept signing up for more of these crazy meetups that were so fear-based.
Wow.
And then I remember one medium coming up to me saying, right now, you have such a beautiful bright light and all the good spirits are going to come to you. But one day the evil ones are going to get you.
Ooh,
So I
wow.
slept in the fetal position for a year because I
Oh
thought she
my
was telling
God.
the truth. Because I don't like, I know nothing. I have no base of like, this is true, this is not true. I assume that if you called yourself a medium, you must be authentic. You must be
Right.
working from the heart, which is
Yeah.
not true. But
Yeah.
like,
I was going to say that sounds like I don't hear that experience very often because for me, authentic mediums don't really there's not fear in unconditional love, right? I mean,
yeah,
there, so I always kind of feel like that's a good indication that maybe someone's not authentic. I don't know if that's what you felt, but
yeah.
continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're absolutely right. But I had nothing to compare it to because this wasn't my world.
Right.
And I just assumed if they're saying it, it must be the truth,
Right. Gotcha. I understand.
right? Because
Well,
I
so
don't
so
know.
yeah, let me take you back for a second because you started by saying when you were younger,
Yeah.
you had known it and you believe. I guess you didn't say you believed it, but you said you were drawn towards it and you were
I went
fascinated by
to
it.
psychic fairs, but I
So,
didn't get how they worked. I just thought
but
it was
were you
fun.
skeptical or were you like, ooh, did you feel something? Did you feel like connected
No,
to it somehow? No.
no. It was more of uh me and my friend would go and it was a fun thing to do on a Saturday afternoon when the psychic fair came through our city.
Interesting. Okay.
But we
Interesting.
didn't understand. Like it's just like,
But
I don't
it
know.
seemed like you kept going back, right? That's the point. Like you're like, I
I did
don't know.
2 times. I don't know what this is, but we're gonna go back because it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yes.
It was
And
fun.
Angela, by the way, Angela says, speaking of etymology, your name says it all, devoted follower of Blessed Mother Mary. So
Mm,
I'm imagining that's the
yeah.
definition of Gonçalves.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I was actually named after Mother Mary in Portugal because my name is Maria de Fatima. So of
Nice.
Fatima. And we have like the Holy Land in Portugal. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And this is, I guess this was kind of where I was going with that. Hearing that experience, how did that shape you as a healer, right? So you were kind of being scared, right? You just said you
Yeah.
slept in the fetal position for a year.
I was
Um,
terrified.
yeah. So where did we go from there? Tell us how you eventually found peace with it and
It took a
are
while.
yeah.
It took a while because I had like the crystals because I went to a crystal shop. She's like, if you buy a couple $100 in crystals and you put it around your room, spirit will not bother you. And
Mm.
you know what? That doesn't work. I learned
Mhm.
that because I covered my
Yeah,
bedroom.
see, that doesn't sound like that doesn't sound like the modality of crystals to me, right? Crystals to
No.
me are always about intention and you kind of
Oh,
you
absolutely.
yeah, it doesn't sound like, I mean, there are crystals that have protective properties and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I never heard that. I mean, I have heard the thing with salt, putting the salt in a circle
Yeah.
and certain rituals and symbols that are meant to keep away evil right? And then even I know a lot of psychic mediums do a lot of kind of like protective spells before they enter, that mental state,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Okay.
I'm just in the space of I am protected, I'm safe,
Okay.
and I just walk with faith, and that's where I'm at now. But
Okay.
back then, yeah, if you had a prayer and it was a 3-hour prayer, I would say it because I'd be like, "How else am I gonna be protected?"
Hmm. Hmm.
'Cause
Hmm.
that was a very big thing. Because I was so scared, but I remember a friend, she was studying to be a Reiki master, and I was like, "Listen, I'm in so much pain, I'm having such a hard time with this," and she'd be like, "Oh, let's do Reiki. I have to get my hours." She was getting certified.
Hmm.
First
Hmm.
Reiki session, I leave my body. I'm like, "Oh my god, you almost killed me." I didn't understand what was going on. She was like, "That wasn't supposed to happen." I was like, "Okay." But that got me curious, and then I got into meeting, like, good people, if you will,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
meeting these incredible healers, and then
Hmm.
you would meet mediums and psychics and go to Reiki shares, and what I learned is the more I loved the healing, but it was all by accident, like, there wasn't this, like, I'm going to become a psychic medium. It was all because of this back injury, and I was trying to figure out how to do pain management. That was like my biggest thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
And with that, I learned to do self healing, and I loved it. Did a lot of volunteer work in in hospice. With that, and I would pray a lot. I would pray and I would meditate, and I remember once just praying, and I'm in my Reiki room, and I remember seeing like 4 beautiful angels in the corner because I see them like I see you now,
Right.
not so
Right.
much, but back then everything was very 3D to me.
Hmm.
I'd be
Hmm.
like, oh my goodness, there's like 4 angels, one in each corner, and I'd be waiting. I was like, okay, what's going on? And then I could see the spirit people coming in. And then I actually saw Mother Mary step forward. And it was amazing. It was absolutely beautiful. And I used to have an aunt that would see Mother Mary every night, and nobody would believe her. And I'd be like, I believe you. I believe you. I had the experience. I know it's possible.
Wow.
But there are a lot of incredible, amazing things out there. And then through that journey, I got into tarot cards because Spirit kept talking to me, and there was no way I was going to admit that I was a medium to nobody. I was like,
Mhm.
I don't see dead people. I don't talk to dead people. Other than my close friends, nobody had any idea what was going on. So I
Right.
figure if I learn tarot and you think the cards are talking to you, and your loved ones are coming through and I can hide behind the cards, I
Interesting.
was in. So then I did a lot of psychic fairs where it's like, oh, you got my mom, you got my dad. I was like, yeah, which card said that? Oh, this one over here.
Wow. So you were actually a bit of what's that word I'm looking for?
I was
Charlatan.
I was so terrified somebody would say you're a medium because also
Right.
growing up like strict Catholic, it was like, oh, you're doing the work of the
Sure.
devil. What are you
Sure.
doing? You're going to hell. So it was like, no, the cards did the cards said it all.
Sure. No, that's actually an interesting kind of trick
Yeah,
to put a spin on it. And I mean, I certainly understand, especially even as short as 5 years ago, it wasn't, cool, right?
yeah,
And now it's starting to become cool to say it. I feel like a lot of people are stepping up that maybe, are not authentic. But I know for me, I love being around psychic energy, authentic
yeah,
psychic energy, and watching people read and heal, and the
yeah,
energetic exchange that goes on. I love it. And she
yeah.
says you're too funny. I also want to just Angelo is asking if you have an altar. Angelo likes to kind
No,
of try to feel into my guests and
no.
okay,
I
no
used to.
altar.
I used to. I
Focus a little more, Angelo. Um,
yeah.
and Michael is saying he really likes the sneak peeks from your new deck. So I guess since we're
Oh,
talking
thank you,
about
Michael.
tarot,
Yes.
let's talk about the sneak peeks of your new deck. So you're coming out with a tarot deck.
I am. I just submitted my last photos today to the graphic designer,
Okay.
and then it goes off to the printers, and then sometime in September, the deck
Mhm.
should be here. And that was all because I've always wanted to do a deck,
Mhm.
and I've always wanted to embrace the psychic, because what I've learned over the years is, as I was hiding behind the psychic and then being like, "Yeah, I'm a medium, I'm a medium,"
Mhm.
uh, you notice there's a difference when you say medium and psychic. When you say, "I'm a medium," everybody's like, "Oh, that's so cool."
Mhm.
I'm a psychic. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
like,
Mhm. Mhm.
"Wait,
Mhm. What's up, quiet
embrace
hero?
your psychic, embrace your intuition."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So so with the cards, I've always wanted to do a deck, never really knew where to begin. And then interesting enough, with my podcast, I ended up meeting tarot creators. And then I went for a reading after the passing of my dad. I had a reading from a psychic medium. And she's just like, I feel like there's this deck you're supposed to create. And it's
Mhm.
almost like it gave me permission to do what I always wanted to do.
That's cool.
'Cause I was feeling a bit lost after my dad's passing, and I was kinda like, "I know what I do," but it was like, there's something missing, and I find too, when, because I love readings, when you go for readings, the medium, like, when they tap into the psychic, they're just confirming what your soul wants you to hear, you just haven't
Right.
heard the whispers, because like, the grief was so deep, right? So it's
Sure.
like, "Oh, yeah, and then I lit up, I was like, "That's right, I wanted to create that deck." And then I started on a journey, and I am that person. I will jump in. I have no idea what I'm doing. And then once I'm in, I'm like, oh my God, why did I say yes? This is a lot of work. And it is, but it's very sentimental, the deck for
Mhm.
me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the one thing I noticed is every card has to mean something, and it has to feel right. I can't
Sure.
just
Of
submit
course. Yeah.
cards
Yeah.
and
Of
be like,
course.
"Yeah, here's an art picture. It follows the Rider Waite symbol." I couldn't do that. It was like, it doesn't feel right. Something's missing. And I had cards that would sit there like for a couple of days, and I'd be like, "There's something missing." And I wouldn't submit it until
Until
you
you got it right.
hear it and
So
I got it right. Yeah.
Brian Lahr is in the audience here watching, and he says, "What a great journey making your own deck." Brian has a tarot deck,
Yes.
and an angel deck, and I know he went through a lot of like automatic writing and really, really channeling the energy of the angels for the angel deck. Each angel was, like a ritual, like a night that was dedicated to channeling that specific. So he's asking, is it a tarot deck or an oracle deck?
It's tarot,
It
78
is a tarot deck.
cards.
Wow. Yeah, that is a big undertaking.
That
And
is huge.
you're
Really.
saying it's sentimental. So you're using, you said you submitted your photos. So what's the theme? What are the photos? What's the sentimentality of the deck?
So I haven't come up with the name yet. I'm playing around with the name because I got to come up with the name in the next couple of days.
Mhm.
So it is Euro going to Europe. So I picked a couple of countries, and
Mhm.
it's like you're going on a trip, like that
Mhm.
Eat, Pray, Love vibe, which I love,
Mhm.
and just healing, discovering different places throughout Europe. So I learned a lot about history in Europe,
Mhm. Mhm.
castles, things I didn't know about different countries, architect. Like Spain is like number one for architect in their buildings. I learned that.
Mhm.
Italy has the most beautiful cemeteries I've ever seen in my life. I learned about that.
Wow.
So you learn a lot of things about different parts of Europe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I have a lot of
So
Portugal in there, a lot of
cool.
castles, a lot of stuff I would like to see when I go on vacation. Yeah.
Interesting. So the deck, so the cards, the images, and the deck are related to traveling
In
like
Europe.
different
Yeah.
countries. There, that's pretty cool. And Brian's asking, did you do a manual? Because I know
I'm working on that
that's the
tomorrow.
biggest. Yeah, that's the biggest step. And I know Brian at Wizard of Odd. Just a little shout out for him. It's there's a lot that goes into it, and that's actually when I met Brian, I had been thinking about doing a deck because I do photography and art,
Yeah.
and it's actually what prevented me from even starting, because I just knew so little about it, and there's such a deep craft to each card, the meaning of each card, and and even the oracle deck. I feel like even a deck like that, like after seeing Brian and what he put into it, I was like, okay, maybe that's not what my intention was. I was just like you said, like, oh, I have these nice art and I make cards and I make stuff, and it just didn't feel authentic to me. So I didn't do it. And
Yeah.
maybe it's in me, somewhere. But I agree with you. It's got to be right. If I do it, it's not just going to be like, ooh, I want to make a deck of cards that look pretty. I want to do something that's energetically significant, and that almost, I guess, almost like a legacy, right, of my own energy that I can put out into the world, and it can now have its own consciousness and interact with whoever finds it. And
Well,
so
I love that. I do want to create because I feel like once you do one deck, you catch a bug, and next year I want to do an angel deck. We'll see. We'll see how I feel by the end of the year.
cool.
But it is a labor of love. Love. Labor of
Absolutely.
love.
Well,
You're
that
not
I think that's what makes it authentic. Yeah, I think that's very important. And I want to say hello to Jennifer Rose. And Brian is asking for you to describe your favorite card. Oop, I'm trying to click on his and
Oh, there's so many. There
yeah.
is so many cards. I actually just did a card. I have so many. I love them all. I do. I love them all.
That's
I just did
listen, that's great. Michael Christopher says you're hooked now. Um,
Yes, you do. And I love art. I used to love art in high school. I love art galleries. I have a lot of tarot and oracle cards. There is an appreciation for the art because the art tells you a lot about the artist,
sure. Yeah,
right? And there's
sure.
a vibe to it.
Totally. Well, I feel like as an artist, I can certainly imagine, like I'm saying, like I don't feel like it would be authentic for me right now, but I feel like if I did make that connection, right, with my energy and then the meaning and the ability to uh channel, or I don't want to say conjure, but connect, the ability to connect with energy very, very authentically through the image, right? So
Yeah,
I think for me it would be probably some sort of like very intentional meditation over, meditating over it, and just kind of like really, really dedicating myself to it. Like you're saying, you're dedicated to it, and it's been a process. So that's exciting. You're gonna have to keep us posted to when it comes out. I see that a lot of people, or a couple of people in the audience, are kind of looking for readings. So I know on the Sacred Spiral Network, a lot of the mediums do reading. Do you do readings virtually? Are you're feeling up to it? I just want to ask you.
oh, I'm gonna
No is
say
acceptable.
no, thank you. I'm like, it's 9 o'clock at night here.
No worries. Yeah, no
Sorry.
worries. And I did want to ask you, and just so the audience knows too, that's a very important part of that energetic
Yeah,
exchange. When you're working with a psychic, or a psychic's working with you, you'll notice often, a psychic will ask you permission. Like, is it
yeah,
all right if I bring through your spirit?
yeah,
Your mom or whoever that might be. Is it all right if I read your akashic records? Is it all right if I do this? And there's a lot of energetic respect, I think, in authentic work, authentic mediumship work.
oh,
There's
I
just
agree.
it's like, I know you said like you don't necessarily prepare with prayers before to protect your energy, but there still is, again, I feel like everybody's got their method. You know what I mean? Everybody kind of tunes in their own way, you
Yes,
know
I agree.
and that's it.
I
And
agree.
Michael Christopher is giving you an endorsement. He's saying you are an amazing medium. So
Thank
I think he's endorsing you as like, You don't need to prove yourself on my show. So there's no readings necessary. My show is more about holding space for you and
Yeah,
talking to you, and just being able to bask in your smile, and
thank you.
exchange that energy with you. So tell me more about your podcast. But before you do,
Yeah.
because I see in the questions that there are some questions here. I don't want to move forward without addressing this. Kelly Brickle is here,
Ooh.
and she's asking, what are some of your favorite symbologies or symbols?
Oh my goodness,
Good
Kelly.
question.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Mm,
Uh, I don't know. Like, do you mean for tarot cards, Kelly? Like symbols
I
in
would think she
tarot?
just means in general. So like close
Yeah.
your eyes and think of a symbol and what comes to your mind first.
One of my favorite symbols is the white dove.
The white dove.
Is
Okay.
the white dove. I love the
Beautiful.
white dove. I think the infinite symbol, I love that.
The
Uh,
infinity. Yeah, infinity.
the infinity symbol, I really like that one. I like the black hat. That's a cool symbol in tarot. Ooh,
Hmm.
the white doves, yes.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yes. I was actually, went to Portuguese mass on the weekend with my mother for Father's Day, and I hadn't gone back, and, I didn't know I hadn't gone back for Father's Day, traditional Portuguese mass, and they had a tradition with the band, and it was actually really cool. And then there was a little boy pulling a wagon, a metal white wagon. I went closer, and there was two
Wow.
white doves in it. I was like, "Oh my goodness, they're alive." It's so cute. It's
Oh
part
wow.
of the walk, like very traditional stuff that we do back home, but they brought it into our city. So it's so beautiful to be a part of like when I get the opportunity to take my mom to the Portuguese church because they still bring those deep, deep rooted traditions here in the city. But yeah, and there was white doves, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's so cool.
That
Having
is very cool.
beautiful white doves. Yes.
Cool. I see, I'm just copying and pasting here for a moment. I see that Eveline is asking, what's the name of your podcast? So I'm just going to copy and paste it into a banner here so people can reach you. But tell us about your podcast. That was what I wanted to move into next.
Oh, so my podcast is my name, Maria Gonçalves podcast. And it is what is it? Mediumship, intuition, and tarot. So the focus of my podcast is to remove the fear um,
Oh,
that you
interesting.
have within your mediumship, within exploring tarot, within exploring different spiritual gifts that you have. So I always ask my guests, were you scared? Because I think that's
Mhm,
so important. Oh, thank you.
mhm.
Because one of the things that I've noticed over the years is when mediums become more well known. Oh, I was never scared. I was never scared. I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you weren't scared? I know I was. So,
So everyone's
yes,
that's great.
Richard Marconi. Oh, I loved him. He
I
was an
and I
interviewer
yeah,
in Texas.
I totally loved watching you because one of the things I never ever expected to be doing this.
Yeah,
I'm a tech guy from the back end, and I
yeah,
was always behind the camera, very intentionally behind the camera. And it was really just doing this with a friend as a co-host. Let me just fix my mic here, which seemed to have sunk. Doing it with a friend and being involved with these conversations, it was just so much fun, and so the energy exchange was so rewarding. And then besides the conversation with you, there's all the people in the audience who were, responding, and then I would, get an email say, oh, that really touched me, and I'd be like, wow, i didn't I didn't even realize that it was such a powerful way to communicate. So this yeah, this whole platform has really made me kind of much more social,
yeah,
much more appreciative of everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, much more aware of my own, disposition of love and non-judgmental space, which is why I can hold space for people just kind of, aren't afraid to be authentic around me and when they come here. So um
yeah.
I love that you came here with that big smile on your face and you still got it. Kelly's asking, what does the black hat symbol mean?
The
Did you say
black hat.
black cat, Kelly? She said the black cat.
Yes. If I could just add, like with the podcast, I've been so blessed, and maybe you felt this too, with each guest that I've had, because they do open up their heart and they do share their beginning stories. And I find when people share their beginning stories, and I've had the same experience for myself, I have aha moments when I'm interviewing them. And also, they give other people that are listening permission to step into their true authentic self, because maybe they hear something within their story and they're like, wait, I'm having that experience. Okay, I'm not going to be afraid. I can do this. I can step into the next part of my life. So
Right.
I think
Right.
that's super important. Like you holding
Yeah.
space here, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think that we're all reflections of each other, right? And
Yeah,
so when you see someone doing something like this, it inspires you. Or even watching and hearing someone's story, you're like, oh, now like you just said, now I feel more comfortable with my own story, which I may have been kind of
yeah.
hiding. But Kelly is not giving up. She's saying, well, what does that mean to you as well? So what is a black cat?
A black hat for me.
Oh, is it a black hat? Hat? HAT?
Cat,
Cat.
meow.
Okay, that's what I thought. I don't know why we can't seem to. All right, we now are on the same page. We connected.
A
It's
black hat, Kelly.
so what does the black cat mean to you?
So the black hat to me means psychic. It means going between two worlds. It means healing powers. And it's so funny because in the beginning of my journey, when I was doing healing and I had a space in my home, and people come over and they're like, "Where's your cat?" I'm like, "What cat?"
Mm.
But no, I heard a cat. I was like, "There ain't no cat." I didn't have pets back then.
Wow.
I was like, "There is no cat in this house. I do not own a cat." But everybody would
Sensed
always, when
one.
they came in the house, "Where's
Mm.
the cat?"
Wow.
Yes,
So they sensed it. So interesting because I know that as far as like black cats go, if I think about it, and I'm just responding to this conversation, right?
yeah,
I'm thinking about concubine, right? So like a wizard or a witch would
yeah,
often have a concubine, some sort of spirit animal with them.
yeah,
That was really kind of, I guess, a not a personification, I don't know what the right word is, but an embodiment of the essence, right, of kind
yeah.
of like the companion. So there is kind of mystical, symbolism with the black cat, I think.
I
And
love
I
cats.
see
I think they're
Vanessa.
beautiful.
Hello, Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa.
That's awesome. So that's really interesting too. So people were sensing this kind of cat energy around you, even though you didn't have a cat.
I didn't have a cat. I didn't get a cat till many, many years later,
Hmm.
but I
Hmm.
just find cats are so healing. I remember years ago as a teenager working in a nursing home, and there were cats everywhere. O gato preto. Yes. Somebody wrote Portuguese, or was that
Yes, Tim
Spanish?
Tim actually lives in Brazil. So he's
Oh,
one of my international, well, he lives in the United States right now, but he was in Brazil, and
nice.
he would make my show international just by being here. So I always
Nice.
appreciate it.
I have family in Brazil, so that's very cool.
Nice.
You're so welcome, Kelly.
Nice. And Seashells is saying, may I ask a question? Of course you can ask a question, Seashells. Um, and Eveline says you had a familiar. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you,
Oh,
Eveline. Concubine. I was saying concubine, but familiar. I think that was the word I was thinking of.
Harry Potter.
Yes, exactly. Right. Uh,
Harry Potter, I love it.
yeah.
I love all animals. I have 2 dogs now. My son stops me. I was like, "Can we get a third one?" He's like, "No, mom. We're done with pets." But, like, yes, if I had a farm, I think I'd have, like, 100 cats, 100 dogs. I love animals.
Animal energy is really amazing when you can connect to it for sure.
Yes.
And I think if you're an animal person, it's usually pretty easy to connect with it. So seashells, I gotta apologize, seashells. We talked about readings. Maria's not going to do any readings tonight. We're just kind of here to talk about her story and who she is. Um, but we wish you good luck for your daughter's acceptance at school, waiting for an open seat. And I say
Good luck.
it's looking good.
There you
I'm
go.
just I'm just gonna put that in there. It's looking good. I would say be excited about your daughter. And Joey Bard is out there. What's up, Joey? Good to see you.
I
So awesome. So I guess where were we? We were talking about your podcast, and where your journey has brought you. Again, I kind of knew this from watching your show. You just have this energy of you're just on the journey and you're enjoying the hell out of it.
I love what I do, and I love meeting people, and I love stories.
Mhm.
Like, I love people's stories, and I find it so fascinating because
Yeah.
you can meet 100 different mediums, and they all have a different story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just find that fascinating. I love the psychic. I think psychic doesn't get enough recognition because
Mm-hmm.
we're all psychic, and it's just
Yeah.
trusting that. So
Yeah.
now I'm curious, Michael, do you own tarot cards or oracle cards?
I actually do. I have, and I'm gonna have to. This is going to be a little shout out to Brian, but I have Brian's deck
Do you
with
really?
me, which is like this golden deluxe deck.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
this is
beautiful.
yeah, and Brian did all the artwork himself. He's a photographer, and this is an amazing deck, the Wizard of Odd. I don't know if there's any collector's editions left. I think he actually sold out of them, but you can go to Wizard of Odd for that.
Oh, wow. Is that a limited edition?
Well, this yes. So what it is he had made the deck many years ago,
Yeah,
and he has his own deck. It's funny when you watch his show and he does readings, they're like falling apart. They're like
yeah,
they're old and it's like he's a true wizard. Yeah, he wanted to do. I think it's the 10th anniversary. 10th anniversary. Yeah, so it was
yeah,
on the anniversary. He did a re-edition. I don't know how many he printed, but
yeah.
gold on the sides and just really a really beautiful deck. So check them out if you get the
Yes.
chance. If
That's
you're into
gorgeous.
decks and you like getting different decks,
I love
it's
decks.
definitely a very unique deck. And I think this is probably why he was curious about your process and relating to it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but if you look around the edges of the cards, he's got these like symbols and like you can
Yeah,
pull a card and the symbols and some of
that
the
is
words and the
gorgeous.
things he's got will assist you with the reading. It's kind
Yeah,
of not necessarily like, oh, you've got to go to the book and say, oh, it's this card and here's the meaning of it.
yeah.
um, which I guess is more so for Oracle deck. But when you know tarot, you kind of know the story of each card and the meaning of each card.
But it's
Um,
also intuition because it will open up your intuition
sure, sure.
too,
Well,
right?
there's definitely like an interpretive aspect to it, right? So you get a certain card and it
Yeah,
means something, but how does that apply to the situation? And
yeah.
what's the energetic connection to
It's
this?
a story. It's artwork. I think it's beautiful. And now what's happening, which I think is really cool. People are mailing me decks.
Oh,
Like I'm
that's
going to the
awesome.
mailbox and I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
you must love that. You must
I'm
love
in
that.
heaven. I got
Yeah,
an angel deck. And then I reached out to the creator of the angel card and I was like, you got to come on my podcast. We got to show off these
there
cards.
you go.
I need the story behind your cards. And it
I
was a
love
gift and
that.
they were beautiful. But yeah, so I love and I've been receiving decks like over the years because
That's
people just be
beautiful.
like, I heard you love decks, and they'll be rare decks. And then I find too when you try to buy Oracle or tarot decks, sometimes because I'm in Canada, like just outside Toronto. So sometimes they don't even mail them to, like, I can't order them into Canada. So I'll have to ask friends in that country to buy me the deck
Wow,
to send it to me, and then I send them the money. I'm like, I really want this
that's
deck,
cool.
but they don't sell it in my country. They don't mail it to my country.
That's
Yes,
cool.
I'm next level with cards.
That's awesome. I love that, and I may borrow that from you. I like the idea because doing the show, right, and wanting to have guests. Like I like the idea of getting something from someone and then having them on the show, and you're able to discuss it. So I got a book for the live stream of consciousness. There
Yeah,
was a couple of people who kind of recommended me, and this poet James Anthony sent me his book. I want you to have it, and this other guy sent me his book. It's great because like you said, I love stories. I love to meet people and hear what their perspective on life is, right? Because
yeah,
isn't that the part of life is to live it and enjoy it, but it's like sometimes it's like, what should I do? And hearing other stories can be inspirational to, ooh, maybe I do artwork, maybe I can make a deck, maybe there's something calling,
yeah,
maybe I am psychic, like you said. I mean, I think all of the good psychics I know say the same thing, that we're all psychic,
yeah,
and even though I don't practice it, I certainly am in touch with it, and I've had my moments where I'm like, oh wow, that was from somewhere else. That's
yeah.
like that was a real connection. um And I think it's like fitness, right? Like if
Yeah.
somebody decides they want to go to the gym and work out and be fit, they have
Yeah.
to work at it to look that way. So if you decide you want to be a medium, you've got to exercise. You've got to exercise your mediumship.
Oh,
And
absolutely. Like I sit in the power every day. I'm addicted to meditation.
mhm,
I find if I don't meditate, I feel off. So I
mhm.
have to. Cards are so addictive. They are. I feel like we could have a party with cards.
Yeah,
What's the artwork?
Michael Christopher says, I did a reading when I joined you. I'm not
Yeah.
remembering what he says. I do. It's interesting to me because I have had guests who kind of call me out, right? And I hosted Grace Grella's show with her. I kind of helped her do her show, and I just manned the phones. But there are moments when like stuff just comes out of you, right?
Yeah.
You feel compelled to bring forth a thought or an idea. And Michael kind of did that exercise with me. I think that's probably what he's referring to, where he just kind of led me through the process of actually reading, by just kind of examining my thoughts, right, and
Yeah.
asking me certain questions that helped bring that out.
I will
Um,
say, Michael, what was it with
Michael
Kelly?
Christopher.
Yes, with Kelly, they did a fundraiser
Hmm.
in the beginning of the year for California fires. I don't remember what the charity was, but it was for a charity. And Michael gave me the most beautiful reading he brought through my dad in spirit.
That's
It
awesome.
was so beautiful. I was in tears. He brought through evidence that no one had ever brought through. And then even like with my students, I always remind them because they'll be like, well, you just got another reading from your dad. And I'm like, listen, my dad lived a big life. And there was like, if you count the days of the year, he passed away in his he was 80 when he passed away. That's a lot of memories.
Mm,
And then I think Kelly brought through my dad
awesome.
too, and Nancy. Like my dad was just he
Wow.
was like, "I'm coming in tonight," and he
Your
came through
dad,
with
he's a
the
big fan of the Sacred Spiral Network.
he is. He came through. I was so blessed. I was so blessed.
That's awesome. That's
Yes.
awesome. I have Vanessa, is asking a great question, and these are the things I should have prepared next
Yeah.
to me. But I usually go with the flow and I let it go. But what are some books or other practices you recommend for someone who's on a spiritual journey, who's also kind of like you, fascinated with mediumship and
Yeah.
maybe they got scared, maybe, like what would you recommend for someone?
So for me, I'm very big on mindfulness practices. I studied mindfulness for years with a Buddhist nun, and that makes you so present and in the moment. It's a lot about meditating, but it's a lot about being aware of you, where you are in this moment. Like when you are drinking a cup of coffee, usually we like, gulp, gulp, gulp. We don't even taste it. We eat our food so fast. So when you practice mindfulness and you slow down, you actually, I found for myself, you start to become more sensitive to energy because you're just in that calm space all the time. I will say one of my favorite books for mediumship is Janet No Havoc from The Journey Within. She's in spirit now. I can't remember like the title of her book, but she explains mediumship so clear. And I like the way she explains mediumship. There's another book by, oh, what's her name? Pat Longo. She's actually
Oh, I
a
know Pat
healer.
Longo.
Yes, she trained Teresa Caputo, and
Yeah, I
she
know
wrote a
Teresa as
book.
well. Oh, wow. Awesome. You're talking to my whole Long Island family there.
Yes, and I love her book because it talks about feeling anxiety, and she has a lot of prayers in there. She has a lot of rituals, and they're all so empowering. And I remember when my dad was in the nursing home, and one of the PSWs, like personal support workers, that would help my dad. She was very sensitive, and she was really struggling. And I gave her Pat Longo's book. I'm like, read this because
Oh,
this
wow.
is gonna help you so much, so you understand what you're feeling. I think find a book that resonates with you because I will say this in the beginning, because I have friends that are very sciencey.
I
They love
found,
science.
yep, I found
Um,
Janet Nohavec, uh,
yes.
and I saw her book name here. I'm just trying to
I
keep
think
up with you
it's
here. It was
between both
something
worlds. It's
Book of
on Amazon.
Condolence. Book of Condolence, I think it says it's called Book of Condolence. Is that?
No, it's
No, no, that's Book of Condolence. Of course, that's her obituary. What am I thinking?
yeah, it's on
Um,
Amazon.
Amazon. All right,
You
I
find it
will
on
find it. I will
Amazon,
find it,
and I
guys.
think I don't remember the title if it's Between Two Worlds. But you can find it on Amazon. Just type in her name on Amazon. The book
Yeah.
will pop up right away. It's an excellent book. What I was going to say is in the beginning, I have some friends that are very science mind. Like I'm not a science person.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they would recommend mediumship books that were very sciencey
Hmm.
for me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, oh, it's
Where
there
two
you go.
worlds meet. Yeah, Micah says it's where two. Thank you,
You can
Michael.
get it cheaper. I paid a lot less.
I was just bringing it up. Yeah, people
Yes,
don't look at the price there. I
go
was
to
just
Amazon.
bringing
It's
up the title.
yeah, but it's an excellent, excellent book. Highly recommend that book. And then just, find books that resonate with you. Go to library. They're free at the library. Get your library card. Uh, and yeah, that's what I recommend. Find mediums that you like. See if they have books
Mhm.
that they've read.
I
Watching
think that's
YouTube videos.
yeah. I like that recommendation. So the idea of finding somebody that you resonate with, right?
Yeah,
I would say go see mediums and use your own intuition, right? Does that
yeah,
person seem authentic to you? Do they not? And I know for me, I was a skeptic for
yeah,
a long time, but when I encountered something that was very real for me, not only did everything change, but I got my taste for how to feel my way through it, right? And to
yeah,
kind of know, and like I said, and I've said it before on the show here, I have like this psychic kind of fetish. I love to be around psychics doing readings. That's why I'm always tuning into the Sacred Spiral Network and watching people just do these readings, because it's just such a great energetic exchange. Maria is out there also asking questions. So Maria, we are not doing readings tonight. I appreciate you coming here for that. And I know that the network usually has people doing readings, but we are holding space for Maria Gonçalves tonight.
it's 10 o'clock at night.
That's
Sorry,
right.
guys.
So her energy is not, let's give her a little bit of a break, guys.
Yeah. I find too, another thing I would recommend for people that are new to this journey, find a friend so you guys can celebrate your wins. Somebody that'll be
Great.
like, wow, what happened to you?
Totally.
And, there's mediumship circles out there, there's psychic circles out there. And again, if it doesn't feel right, it's okay to leave. Don't feel like you have to stay with that group of people if it doesn't feel right. So
That's right.
start trusting your spidey senses, because I find it's a language thing. Because people be like, "Oh, I'm not psychic." It's like, I beg to differ.
Right.
You have that gut
I agree
feeling.
with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like if you're around in the right situation and
Yeah,
the right vibration is happening,
yeah,
suddenly you'll be like, "Ooh, what is that?" Something is happening, right? And I
yeah,
think that's where you kind of, your curiosity peaks and you change direction, and now you're walking that. They talk about. I'm not a big fan of the terminology, right? But they talk about the spiritual journey, or I'm on the path, but it's a good metaphor, right? If you're going in a certain direction and it feels right to you.
yeah,
I talk about Bashar very often, like, what excites you, what really lights you up.
yeah.
That's where you should be going, right? That's why
That's your
the
yes,
moths are always flying to the light, because they're like, ooh, the light, the
yes,
light.
yes.
you know
I
Um,
agree. I agree. It's just follow your heart. Like you said, follow what lights you up. That's your intuition guiding you. That's your yes, that's your soul. And get excited with the yeses, because then you get more yeses.
right. And I'm gonna use that to kind of use this as a segue, because I feel like that's how you ended up in the podcast seat. Was it just like kind of like just happened? Like, how did you end up in the podcast seat?
Here as a guest tonight.
No, having your
Oh,
own. I mean, as a host, as like, what made you decide? Oh, I want a podcast.
I always wanted to do it,
Mhm.
but again, I was scared to death.
Mhm.
And then I saw something come across on Instagram, and it was a group, it was a course. It was with Kathy Heller. It was for women. And I thought, you know what? Finally, like it just, I couldn't ignore it. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't know if I can do this. So I did it. I jumped in, and I've met such incredible, strong women throughout the world, which I
Awesome.
love listening to their stories, different podcasts. It's a community. It's a community. But I will say in the beginning, I was terrified of being seen. I was so horrified.
Sure.
The first few months, there are no videos of my podcast on YouTube because I was too scared of the camera.
So you just did audio at first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But that's a
it's
good way to
like,
ease into it. That it worked.
you know what it is? It's feel the fear and do it anyways,
Yeah.
because
You
that
know,
drive is stronger.
totally. And I'm gonna say, I think I'm gonna say confidently that that's the theme for tonight's holding space is facing your fears, right? Because
Absolutely.
that was your story, right? You were a little kid fascinated by mediumship, and then when you went near it, it was scary, right? It was scary
So,
when you actually touched it and like tried to experience it, but you worked your way through that fear
yeah.
to become a endorsed medium on the Sacred
Thank you.
Spiral Network. I mean, people, Michael said you're a great medium. Jennifer said you're a great medium.
Oh, they're all
Uh,
incredible.
a-
Yes.
it's
Yes.
exactly what you said. I feel like there's so much good energy in that community of support, right? And
Yeah.
sharing your wins and being like, oh my God. And that's what I love about um the shows on the Sacred Spiral Network. There's such a authentic community supportive vibration that the world needs the Sacred Spiral Network right now. For
They
sure,
do. And
for
it's
sure.
important to build other mediums and psychics up because they can't see their greatness. You can,
Mhm,
and eventually they'll believe you.
mhm. And Eveline says, I concur. The meditation centeredness prepares you to become more aware of your gifts. And again, I am super grateful that people are starting to pay attention to this stuff and starting to become aware of their gifts, because I feel like when you become aware of your gifts, not only do you start to explore self-love and being able to love yourself, which is something that a lot of people don't even know they don't do.
Yeah.
um, but then you start to love the world around you, right? Once you love yourself,
Yeah.
it's so much easier to love the world around you, right? And
I
um,
agree.
and constantly the idea of awareness, right? So
Yeah.
a conversation I had with Suri, she's great in that you'll talk to her and you'll say something, and she looks at the words and she sees exactly the spell that you're putting out there, right, to the universe, to the point where I'm usually like that when I speak. I'll go to say something and be like, wait, I don't want to say those words, hold on, let me rethink this
Yeah.
for a second. But one of the things I had said to her was being a spiritual person and kind of having this knowledge about non-physical existence, right? The realms outside of 3D, and just knowing there's more to it than just this.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes it's a challenge to balance that with the actual 3D part, right? Being in the 3D. So I said something like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm in a good place, but I still have to deal with it." And she
Yeah.
said, "No, you get to deal with it. Like it's a privilege." And
It is.
again, it's those little shifts in perspectives and reminders of this from the supportive community, somebody who you're talking to who's like, hey
Yeah.
Mike, don't say it that way. And it just made me smile, because I was like, oh, you're right, I don't have to figure it out, I get to
Yeah.
figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Which I
It's
think,
such a blessing.
yeah.
And I was gonna say something like supporting other people is super important, supporting other mediums. And when you said the word spell,
Mhm.
I love that because I remember years ago talking to somebody I met online, and her title was witch. And I was like, back then, I was like, oh my God, you're going to put a spell on me. But as we talked, we ended up becoming great friends because again, it's words. Words are scary when you don't understand them, but when you peel them back, and then she's like, Maria, do you know what a spell is? I was like, oh, isn't that where you put like a hex on somebody? She's like, the oldest spell is happy birthday, and everybody does it every day. And when she said that, like something clicked in my mind. I was like,
Such a
oh,
yeah.
what's this whole scary thing of spells? Spells are just another word for intention. What's your
Mhm.
intention? Like,
Yeah,
I think once you start to play around with the words, because we're all saying the same thing, I feel, with different words, then it removes the fear. And then you have the understanding, you have the love, and you have, most importantly, you feel empowered because now you're not scared of it anymore.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I love that.
My favorite, I'm just going to relate to that and then we're going to wrap it up. But my favorite is I create as I speak. Do you know what that is?
Abracadabra. Yes.
Abracadabra. Absolutely. I love
I
that
love
so
it.
much. Yeah. Yeah. I think words are important. So when you speak out loud, you're speaking intention to the universe. You're putting out vibration, and just be accountable for it. That's all you got to do. And
Speak the kind words.
things will be good. And somebody says, wowza, happy birthday. Did I miss something? Somebody's birthday maybe in the chat. I might have missed that. But happy birthday to whoever's birthday it is in the chat. Maria Gonçalves, you're so much fun to talk to. I hope people enjoyed this and come check out your podcast. Your podcast was a lot of fun to watch. Very similar to this, right?
Yeah.
You're just opening space for conversation, and exploring, showing a piece of the puzzle. I like to say, right? Everybody's got a different piece, so
Yeah.
come to the party, bring your piece of the puzzle, and let's talk about your piece
I
and
love it.
how it
Yes.
fits. Yeah. I
Thank
love
you so much for having me. And everybody, thank you for all your kind words. Thank you, Tim. Bonne nuit.
Boa noite. Boa noite.
Thank
Yes, thank you, Maria.
you.
I have been flying by the seat of my pants. I have been lately working at a new creative agency and spending a lot of time working. So I've been flying by the seat of my pants. So I don't even know who I've got on Thursday, if I've got somebody lined up. If you're a psychic or you got a great story or you want to be a guest on a cool podcast, reach out to me. Maybe you'll be my guest on Thursday on the live stream of consciousness. Kelly Brickle, on the other hand, has been doing a great job lining up my June and July with guests for Holding Space next week. I've got dun, 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 Todd Bates. He's the EVP explorer on the Sacred Spiral Network. So I'm excited to talk to him. I don't think I've actually gone that way with the show yet. So I do know he's awesome. And a couple of you out there, thank you. Love the interview. Great episode. Thank you guys. It wouldn't be great without anybody to receive it. So you guys play a part in that greatness. I will see you guys next week. And Maria, don't go away. I'm going to run the credits and I want to talk to you afterwards.
Okay.
But we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Good night.